I just scoped that fish right there. Alright guys, we are going to be back at it out here again today. It's early December, I guess, and it's unseasonably warm. You can see I got my shorts on, which is Alabama weather. If you don't like the weather in Alabama, hang around and it'll change, that's for sure. But what we're going to be doing today, we've had some flood, a lot of rain, and the river's just flowing like crazy. Coosa River they start moving water, and I'm telling you, it gets swift and it gets muddy. But what is happening out here right now is shad are everywhere out in these pockets, and they're getting out of the river, and it's brought a lot of the bass in with them, I hope. But I'm just seeing piles of shad out in pockets. So what we're going to do is going to take a jerkbait, and because the water in the pocket is still relatively clear, and take a jerkbait, going to go around and try to bust these balls of shads up with a jerkbait, and see if we can convince a bass or two to bite. Maybe it'll be productive, but it's still fishing, as you know. Before we get going, I want to thank Brown's Outboard and over in Glencoe, Alabama, for making these videos possible. If you get a chance, got any kind of boat needs, from wintertime service to repair to buying a new Allison, give Wally and Lee and Wes and those guys at Brown's Outboard a shot. That's at brownsboats.com. You get fixed up. And anyway, here we go. Let's go fishing. Fishing with a 6'6" rod. My brother's blasting off there. Ought to be a decent jerkbait day. Fishing a little pond shot reel I bought here. Of course, it may wind up being a spinnerbait day, who knows. But hoping to get a few, talk about jerkbait fishing is what I'm hoping. This is a Vision 110 jerkbait. And it may be a little too far under them. See shad are banging up everywhere out there. Like maybe more of a, gotta get a little shallower here. Like all the bass are hanging around there right on the surface. And maybe if it ain't a jerkbait day, we're gonna throw something that seems a little bit counterproductive this time of year. Kind of a topwater deal. I'm gonna come at you with a wake bait. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I know you talk about December fishing. A lot of people don't think about a topwater bite, but I'm telling you, it can be done. And it be done with a wake bait more so than, say, a walking bait generally. But most people think, well, they're not a topwater bait, you know, once December rolls around. I'm telling you, you get these unseasonably warm days out here, and you can catch them on a topwater. I may or may not today, but like I said, it can be done. Man, they're just right on the surface right there. I get lined up here. And I may have to get something just a tiny bit deeper than a wake bait, but anytime, like I said, anytime you get these unseasonably warm days, fish can be wake baited. But we'll find them. We'll figure it out here in this little pond we're in. I got no doubt. Our little pond, this is a cove. I call these little coves like this that have a narrow entrance and a big once they get in here, even though we are hooked up to Coosa River. I still call them ponds. Because, you know, it can be their own ecosystem. That's why I call them that. You know, these big mouths that have a big, huge entrance, not so much. But you know, these areas off these rivers that have a real small entrance and a big area once you get in there. If you hear me say he's fishing in a pond, I'm fishing in a pond. That's generally what I'm talking about. And they're in here. We've got some high water situation going on, have some floods and flooding and that kind of thing. So your river is kind of shut off. So, I mean, fish have to be somewhere. And there's quite a few shad in here right now, so it's a good spot. Got the jerk bait back out. Let's just see. And what I'm trying to do, I see these big balls of shad flickering around here. And I'll bust these big balls of shad up with this jerk bait. And you know, when that shad parts and all of a sudden there's fish cruising these shad, you know, the shad will go scurrying away, and then and all of a sudden that fish sees this big megabass 110 sitting there. A lot of times he'll come up and smack him. This. And a new reel here, trying to get it situated, new to me reel. Trying to get it situated for this bait here. I just still believe it's a good time for a jerkbait. I'm bringing it pretty quick because it is 60-degree water. So come on now, cooperate. Got to be here. Too many things in our favor for them not to be here. There's one. Oh, there he is. He's still on there. Stay on there, baby. Finally. Looks like a decent fish. Nah, he's foul hooked. Look at there, what a catch, would you? Hey, he took a swipe at it and took a swipe at a little spot in here in this pocket and missed, obviously, and that was when I thought I had him and didn't, and then all of a sudden he comes back in there on it. But I wasn't sight fishing, so that counts. How about that? Jerkbait fish number 1. All right, guys, that saw that little catch there. Kind of crazy, that fish. You know, I felt a thud, and then all of a sudden I didn't have something, and then I jerked again and did. That sucker come up there and swiped at it and missed it. And when I started the jerkbait back, which tells me there's more than one up in there, they got competitive after it's what happened, and one got in there. Both come in there, and I hit the jerkbait again. I'm like duck hunting. Hit the jerkbait again and got him. Got him by the tail. And that's the upside of these Mega Bass 110s. Man, they got some wicked hooks on them. Got that out barb hook on it. Cutting this point too close, I may get stuck. I have to get out and push, Vern. It'll be your fault. It's all kind of shad up there. Ought to be able to get something going right here with you. just a little shallow. There he is right there. Oh, he come off. Son of a gun. Huh. It may be a little quicker than the jerkbait. Bring it on in here pretty quick, see what happens. He hit that when I was trying to reel it back in. There's a good one. Yeah, now we're getting jerkbaity. That's a good low largie right there. Not bad. I mean, it's a good tournament fish for Neely, I'll say that. He ain't huge. All right, that's number 2, little largemouth. Gonna talk a little bit, as I said, if we caught 2, we'll talk about jerkbait fishing and how I was able to start doing it. Everybody knows the ABC song, okay? I just made a cast out there. If you'll put it on the rhythm of the ABC song, I'm gonna try to do it out loud here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. That's a great start. And that's basically how I start every day when I'm jerkbait fishing. Now, you know, you can't always sing the ABCs and catch them, but that's a great start in jerkbait fishing. And I'm down here on this little causeway right here in this pocket, and makes a little bit of sense as to what's going on. The bait are pushed back up in this pocket right here, and they can pin them up in this against this causeway and feed on them. I ought to catch another one here just in a second. And I'll say this about jerkbaits: not all of them are created equal, folks. It's asinine what you have to pay for this Mega Bass 110, but it gets bit literally 5 or 6 to 1 for me compared to the rest of the jerkbaits. I mean, there's got to be some more hanging off this rock causeway right here. And you know, I'm not going to give you the whole throwing line back at it and everything else. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably jerkbait fish, but you know, I will say this: find you a rod that is comfortable for you to jerkbait fish with. This is a 6.6 rod right here. This is the one I started out with. I can do it now with a different rod. I can do it with a 7-footer, but you still see I'm still slapping the water every now and again with a 6.6. Now, I always start out with about 3 or 4 good twitches. You can reel it down if that's what you want to do. And then position your body. The more you can work in line with your jerkbait, the less effort it takes you to impart action on it. Now, in a perfect world, I would be right here. If I were tournament fishing, I would be fishing from right here. And just trying to get that rod to twitch straight down. That's a perfect jerkbait action right there. Requires a minimum amount of effort you can have. But you know, if you're like me, I'll catch myself sometimes not in line with the jerkbait. I mean, you'll work yourself to death if you're not careful. Now I've had to put a slow reel. This Shimano right here is a 5.5-to-1 jerkbait reel. That slows me down a lot, which is on purpose. I get to overworking the reel if I'm not careful. Like I say, I'm not going to talk about the very basics of it. And always try to keep track of what you're doing with it. Because I have noticed this about jerkbait fishing too, is they'll get cadence specific on you if you're careful. And want to take a swipe at it. Saw the slack run out of the line. Yeah, I like your boat. They come with fish in a live well. They come with a live well full of fish. Yeah, a little bit in. Well, the spots are getting out of that river, aren't they? Yeah. It's a decent little fish. You got to figure it's a bad situation when they'll take their chances on living outside the water versus whatever's after them. Yeah. I just scoped that fish right there. Really? Yeah. That's big, I think. It's a spot, probably. What? It is flat. That's a. Man, that's a good bad. Good healthy fish. Yeah, that's a good fish. You've been feeding too. Yeah. What do you weigh? I weigh 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds.